Welcome to another edition of NetStruc Talks. It's your host, Sharon Lead, and I'm excited today because I always talk about how speaking and being an author really puts you in your expertise mode. And today I have an amazing guest who has literally mastered being an international and national speaker as well as publisher. And she is going to talk to us about her grand mastery and how she can help you get published and booked. Stay tuned. Welcome again, and it's your host Sharon Lead, and I am here with the beautiful and expert in publishing and speaking, Miss Brenda McGowen. Hawkins, how are you, my dear? How's everything?
Yeah, it's great to be with you, Sharon.
It is great to be with you. And before we start, I have to say, we met, and it's so strange that we met. We met, and I heard you on a mutual friend's podcast.
Yeah.
Kelly Connors, and
Yeah.
I immediately reached out to you on LinkedIn and was like, and just commented you on how amazing I thought your interview and the content and the information that you shared on her podcast was just amazing. And then since then, it was just like, okay, you and I are just going to be stuck to the hip.
I
You
love it.
interviewed me
Yeah.
and you helped me in that interview. That is like one of the best interviews I've had. And you helped me identify the name of my book.
I love
So
it.
I love your energy. I love what you pour into people, whether you met them first time or if you've known them for a while, but your energy is just amazing. And I had to get you on the show. So welcome, Bridgett. How are you?
I am well. Thank you so much, Sharon. You're too kind. But this is the thing. I absolutely love what I do. I love talking to people about their ideas and how do we put them and package them in a way where they can reach more and more people. That's my jam.
Yeah, and you do it amazingly. You do it
Thank
amazing
you.
and authentic. But let's talk about it. Like, who is Bridget? Who is Bridget? Like, who
How much
is
time do we have? Well,
we got a little bit of time, but we
a
want to
little time.
know. And
But
my
I want
inspiring minds want to know.
Right, right. I'll give the highlights. So first off, I am originally from Texas, living in Arizona now, and I have been a professional speaker since 2001. And it was being a professional speaker and also being a teacher with the Texas A&M University system that led me to going out and becoming a faculty development consultant. So I was
Mm,
teaching for Prairie View A&M. I was also teaching at a community college in the Houston, Texas area, and I was teaching online for University of Phoenix. All three at the
wow.
same time. Yes.
Wow.
And I was going to all kinds of conferences and faculty development symposia and everything to try to figure out how to be a teacher. Because originally, my degree, over here, I got to figure this thing out. I'm spatially challenged. That degree, that's me, several pounds
Hmm.
lighter. That degree is in broadcast communications. I was going to be on the evening news. I was going to come in at 6
Really?
o'clock on the teleprompter. So yeah, didn't end up doing that. So I knew nothing about teaching. I went into teaching, knew nothing about teaching. So I'm going to all of these conferences and workshops and stuff. And as I'm going, I'm watching these people present. I'm like, I can do that. I can do better than that. So one thing led to another, got a faculty development consulting position, moved out to Arizona. One thing led to another, became a professional speaker full time. And then voila, in
Wow.
2019, a publisher.
Wow, that is amazing. So you saw how other people were speaking and you said, you know what? And it's not that you were knocking them, but you were like, I could do that better. There's things that I can do better than what they're doing. And you would identify how others would be able to relate to you. So that's amazing, and a lot of people don't really know how to pull that type of gift out of themselves. Other people got to kind of pull it out of them. So kudos to you in looking at what your gift was and now putting it into full time and just, blessing as many corporations and individuals as possible. So, you said you went into, you're a full-time speaker, international and national. But I also see that you're a publisher. So you have a publishing company as well.
Right. So it's really crazy. In 2020, life changed for everybody on the planet. And when it came to speakers, when you rely on people being able to gather by the hundreds, by the thousands in order to make your money,
Mm-hmm.
2020 was tough. But here's the crazy thing, Sharon. It was in December of 2019 when I launched the publishing company, not knowing that 3 or 4 months later, I was going to need that publishing company because, like speakers everywhere else,
Mm-hmm.
my contracts, my opportunities, they shifted. Either
Wow.
events were canceled, postponed, delayed, changed to virtual. We were all in a state of uncertainty.
That's true.
And things just fall into place. I did not know in December 2019 when I launched BMcTALKS Press that I was going to that it was such a smart move. And I
Mm-hmm.
had done it out of speaking. It came out of speaking actually. I wrote my book, Real Talk, What Other Experts Won't Tell You About How to Make Presentations That Sizzle. And I published it in April of 2019. It came about because I was speaking at a conference where Oprah was also going to be speaking. And they were like, hey, do you have a book to
Mm-hmm.
sell in the bookstore where Oprah's book is also going to be sold? And I'm thinking, wait,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I
When you
don't,
think Oprah and me, yes.
thank you. I was like, I don't have a book now, but I will by the time that conference rolls around. And
Mm-hmm.
so after I had a great experience with that, I did another book and had a great experience. I did some compilation projects and had great experiences. I said, Bridgett, you're launching a publishing company. And voila, there you have it.
Wow. Wow. That is amazing. How has it been going? I mean, with the speaking and now with the publishing, I'm pretty sure, people are, because I told you, I said, listen, you're publishing my book. Like, I mean, you helped me get the title, might as well help me publish it. But how is that? How have you been received with that?
Right, right. It's been incredible. So we don't just publish books. I mean, we publish books in the areas of nonfiction. Well, not areas of nonfiction. There's just nonfiction. So we publish nonfiction books in the areas of leadership, um, professional development, personal growth, professional growth, spirituality,
Mhm.
memoirs, those types of books. So definitely check us out BMcTALKSpress.com and see all of the books in our catalog. Now, at the same time, we offer editing services. So maybe you don't want us to publish your book. That's fine. Maybe you want to publish under your own imprint, or maybe I don't know, you're working on a project that you're not going to put out to the world. So we also offer editing services, and it's just been going phenomenally well. We consult with people. Maybe they want to publish under their own imprint. They want their company name to be the publisher of record for their book. We consult with you on how do you get an ISBN? Do you need a Library of Congress control number? How do you apply for your copyright certificate to protect your intellectual property? So we publish books, we edit any kind of material, it doesn't
Right.
have to be a book. And then we also offer consulting services in the event you want to do the work yourself.
That's amazing. That is amazing. You're one-stop shop.
That's it. That's it. We have self-paced courses as well. Let's say you don't want to get on Zoom and talk through things. You just want the content there for you to consume at your leisure or as needed. We have self-paced online content as well.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing. So I want to talk about, because you said it all came out from your speaking. And you saw that as you were teaching, you were an educator, you were teaching. What can you talk to people about? And I follow you on LinkedIn. Like, I love your newsletters. I actually, reference people to your newsletter, that when I'm talking about speaking, when I'm talking to a client about how this is what we need to do to make sure that you are nailing it for your presentation as a speaker. um, you know, what is it that you know, give us some of the tips, you know, maybe like from some of the newsletters that you have. Give some people some first primary fundamental tips of when you want to start speaking. What is it that you need to do?
You need to nail down your niche. You need to figure out what is that thing you want to be known for. You want to say to yourself, when people think of X, with X being your jam, when
Mm-hmm.
people think of X, they think of me. So nailing down exactly what you speak on, nailing down exactly who is your ideal audience. Maybe it's children, maybe it's teens, maybe it's college students, maybe it's professionals, maybe it's the C suite, maybe it's a certain industry, but really getting laser focused on your message and for whom your message is meant. That's the first thing. And then when it comes to just delivery and being amazing, make sure you give your audience a reason to listen. In your
Mm.
opening message, it has to be something that makes them want to lean in and say, "Ooh, yes, this is going to be a good one." And you do that by immediately solving a mystery, by letting them know what they'll know or be able to do by the end of the session. Let's say I was doing a session on self publishing. I would start by saying something like, "You have heard all of the horror stories about self publishing, and maybe you've heard some great success stories about publishing. But by the time we're done with this session, you're going to know the pitfalls to avoid. You're going to know exactly how to title your book in a way that makes people want to go and run and buy it right now. And finally, you're going to know how to make money off of your book without selling one single copy." My name
Mm.
is Bridgett McGowen, and what I do is I empower people to get their books out to the world. That's how I would start a session. I let you know that I understand where you're coming from. You're trying to sort through all this
The
confusing material.
craziness. Yeah,
But then
yeah.
I make you lean in and I tell you by the time we're done, that's the phrase that pays. By the
Mm-hmm.
time we're done, you're going to know this and this and this. And those three things are all so delicious sounding. You're going to tell me how to make money off of my book without selling a copy? I'm on the edge of my seat. And that's what you want to do with your speaking. So narrow down what you speak on, figure out your audience, then give them a reason to listen.
That's amazing. I love that. Listen, as you were doing it, I'm like this. You have to capture the audience, and it's so crazy because one of your messages that I was reading from your newsletter, it was similar to that. It was a couple of things. There was another one that you had indicated that, you know, when you're speaking, don't sit down. Do not sit down. Have you, you know, because when you are astute, your voice comes out more. I mean, there are just so many nuggets that what you give to individuals who have no clue in what they need to do when they want to speak, that you give them these little nuggets. And those are just simple things, you know, knowing your niche, you know, your exact message and what you want to do, your target audience, and then come with something that is mesmerizing for them to lean in and say, I want more. Like, where do I say, here's my credit card? Like, where do I go to say, how is it I can get this information?
Right.
And so many people don't really get it, that, you know, you have to invest in yourself to come to hear you or come to work with you, because you cannot do it by yourself. Everybody has their own lane. Everyone has
Exactly.
their own lane. Do not go in other lanes. And I talk to people about that, that if you want to be a speaker, there are tools that you need to learn. There are people that you can talk to, but you have to do it. As a business owner, I feel you should be a speaker because you should be talking about your craft, but you got to talk about it right. You got to make sure that you're not coming sounding all crazy and everything. It sounding like you coming from, you know, you don't have any type of education whatsoever.
Oh,
So
goodness.
you know, I want to read something that you had sent to me. You said traditional publishing is an option for only about 1% of the population. Your company, you're helping the remaining 99% get published. Like,
Right.
talk to us, like, you know, how is it that you are able to do this? And I guess because the consultant, you have the one-stop shop, but How is it that you can convince somebody to show them that, okay, listen, you can do it this way. This way you'll get there. But when you work with us, you'll get so much higher. How
Right. So there's all kinds of publishing. Well, not all kinds of publishing, but there's traditional publishing. And like you said, 1%. You've got to be a celebrity, big name, big following, influencer. That's not happening for the other 99% of us. So you can go the traditional publishing route, or you can do the self-publishing route. With the self-publishing route, you can either do it all yourself. And this is how I convince people that they really should work with a publisher. With the
Mhm.
self-publishing route, you can go and find the experts, find the editors you need, the proofreaders you need, the typesetters, the graphic designers, find everybody that you need, vet them, hope that they can get the job done the way you want it done, fingers crossed. Or you can go the self-publishing route where you work with an independent publishing company or hybrid publishing company like BMcTALKS Press. And then we take care of all of that work for you. We vetted the editors, we vetted the graphic designers, we have the typesetters on our team, and we take care of all of it for you. Now, you can go either route, but you're going to have to pay.
Right.
You can go the
Right.
route where you're figuring it all out, or you can go the route where we figured it out for you. And so that's how I convince people, where you have to ask yourself, how is your time best spent? What's
Absolutely.
most valuable to you? Like you said, we all have lanes. And it's not about restricting or limiting you, but we should stay in our lanes. And most people don't necessarily want to be publishers. You might want to write a book, but you don't necessarily want to be publishers. So that's one thing. I focus on, do you really want to do this work in addition to the work that you already know how to do with
Right.
a passion and with force and fierceness? That's one thing. And then the second and more important concept is, if you want it done and done well, if you want a quality end product, then you want to work with a publishing company.
Mhm.
You want to be able to put your book up against a book from one of the big five, Random House, Penguin, pick one. You want to be able to hold up your book next to one that's been published by a traditional publishing company, and no one can tell which one is self-published and which one is not. And when you work with us, that is your end result.
As you were talking, I'm thinking self-publishing. You're doing everything. You're finding the editor. You're, finding the person to do the digital, the cover, the this, the that, everything. You're literally all over the place. Take it away from your own gift and craft and business because you're trying to get this done. As what you said, you're being a publisher. And then on the other hand, I'm looking at you and saying, work with us. And here's the peace of mind. And I like peace of mind. I'm pretty sure everybody else that's listening loves the peace of mind. But what we also look, and just looking at the integrity and just your Rolodex, um, peace of mind, credibility, expertise, you look, and then obviously, with the other big ones to what you said, and you line yourself up with them, which I'm really glad you did that. But you're a small business. So which means someone can actually connect with you and say, hey, Bridgett, I have this. I have this in my head that I want to put on paper and I want it to get published. And you actually will sit there and you will discuss with them. You're not going to get that with the owners of the other companies that we're not going to mention, but we will get that from you. And
Yes.
I see that as the uniqueness. People want to work with people who they can, pretty much touch, who they
Right.
can speak with. And I know you have a team, but just to know that they can get in contact with Bridgett, it makes someone feel so much better when they are investing dollars into a baby that they have no clue what the gender is, how big it's gonna get, anything.
Okay, if it's coming with a loaded diaper, no, I'm kidding. I mean, it's true. And here's the thing saying, Sharon, even after you publish with us, we don't just kind of wash our hands of you and you never hear from us again. We reach, well, I say I reach out to our authors with the help of my virtual assistant, of course, and we have calls with them even after their book is published, months and years after their book is published, just
Wow.
to ask what's going on, what's new, how can we support you. We
Mhm.
also make sure that on a monthly basis, we provide our authors with additional resources and ideas for marketing and how to get their book out there, continue to get their book seen and heard and read and purchased.
Right,
So
right.
we kind of become your lifelong friend, whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not. And you want to know, I love lifelong friends like that. Another thing is that what are some biggest mistakes people make when they are going into the publishing? And I want to bring this up because I've heard the nightmares. People come to me and they say, Sharon, I got a publishing company and I need you to do my PR. And I'm like, okay, not a problem. But, talk to me a little bit about your journey and the things that I hear. It's like, oh gosh.
Yeah. 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 So, I'm going to try to keep this as succinct as possible. And I'm going to piggyback off of what you just said as one of the biggest mistakes that people will make. People will go into publishing, especially if they sign on with a publishing company, and they make the mistake of thinking that the publishing company is also a marketing company. And so they are frustrated or confused when the publishing company uh, does market the book on some level, but maybe marketing is done only for a month or two leading up to the publication of the book and a month or two after that. And so they feel kind of frustrated. And so that's a big mistake to avoid. You're signing on with a publishing company, a book publishing company, not a book marketing company. Now, a publishing company is going to do some level of marketing for you, but then it's also going to be able to refer you to those experts who do publishing or who do marketing, I should say, or people like you who are publicists. And that's what you do. That is your wheelhouse. The other thing, if it's a reputable publishing company, they're going to have some kind of a marketing plan for you. So they're not just going to leave you high and dry. We have a marketing plan and we will sit down and walk you through because we believe the author is the best marketing tool that any book could ever have. So that's one mistake. Conflating a book publishing company with a book marketing company.
Mm,
They don't do both.
right.
It's like a body shop does not also change oil. You're going to want to go to the mechanic. It's not like, oh, well, it's a car. Don't you do all things dealing with a car? No.
Right, right.
So that's one
Exactly.
mistake.
Mhm.
That's one
That
mistake.
and that's critical because that is the normal thing that comes to me when authors come to me. It's like, okay, you know what, the publishing company is not doing this, I need you to do this. And again, I go with that question. Another thing that I want to bring up that I mentioned in the intro, getting published and booked. So how can you use whether your book or speaking as how can you get coins by doing the speaking with the book? Okay.
Where do I start? Where do I
That is
start?
the
Well,
$1 million question.
oh my goodness. And there's so many things. So let's start with the fact that the book is kind of your hub. It's the center of your wheel. That's what I want listeners to take away from this. Number one, go write and publish your book. Do that hands down, because then that distinguishes you as an expert in your industry. But now I need you to look at that book as the center of a wheel, and then there are spokes coming out of that wheel. And this is where we get to the answer of your question of how do you use your book to make money? How do you use your book to get booked to speak? Here's the deal. When people are looking for experts, they're looking for people who, quote unquote, literally wrote the book on something. So when you have a book out in the marketplace, it distinguishes you as an expert in that arena on that topic. So when people are looking for a specific topic, they need training, they need development on something. If you have a book, that increases your chances of being able to get booked. Now, specifically, let's talk about a spoke. One of those spokes could be speaking engagements. This is where you're not just reaching out to people saying, hey, I've got this great program on X, and I would love to deliver a workshop to your team. You're pitching yourself, right? You can do that. But how much more impactful would it be if you send a book on that topic that you want to pitch yourself to present a training, a workshop, a keynote to XYZ organization? Hey, I would love to do a training with your team. I understand that this is your focus and this is your mission. I believe in it too. Here are all the reasons why. Here are some of my former clients, so on and so forth. And oh, by the way, I also wrote a book on it. Here's a copy for you to check out. So it amplifies you as the obvious answer to their problem. Next, use your book to get you on stages at large conferences that put you in front of your ideal client. So you may not get paid to speak at that conference. You submit your proposal to be considered to present a breakout session. Your proposal is accepted. You get this room where there's 600, 800 people in there, and they're your ideal client. You give this smashing presentation, and then you let people know that not only do you have a book, but that you also can deliver workshops based on that book's content. Or there's a book signing at the conference, and then you can network one-on-one with people after your presentation even further, because now you have this captive audience of people who are interested in hearing more from you. And what better way than to have this book signing at this conference, where now you get this one-on-one intimate time with people to further explore what they have going on, what are their challenges, and get yourself booked. So those are just two ideas that I personally used. I'm going to tell you this, and this is not gloating. I hate when people do this, but I'm about to do it. It's not gloating. Yeah, I hate this. I don't post a lot on social media because I just don't. But I want to share this because it underscores the fact that I'm not just telling you stuff, but I've actually done it myself. So I presented at a conference last year, hundreds of people in the room. I didn't get paid to speak at that conference, but it was set up just the way I explained it. There were people in the room who were my target audience, who loved the topic that I presented on, and I can do that topic in an extended version. Sharon, I want you to guess how much money I ended up making off of that one presentation, just based on me putting myself out there, having a book, and letting people know that I can give an extended version of this engagement. I want you to guess how much I made from that one presentation, 1 hour breakout session.
250,000.
Oh man, I shouldn't have asked you to guess. It was only 50,000. It was only 50,000.
Listen. And the reason why I said 250,000 is because the content that you just gave was worth millions. That's worth millions. That's why I said that number. But kudos to you, 50,000. That's amazing for going to a conference. They're not paying you. You probably would have got underballed if they paid you to do that. And that's what it's so critical. It is so critical for people to listen to what you are saying, because I see you as an expert in this, the knowledge of what you put out. And this is why it was really important for us to have this conversation, because people shy away from speaking. People shy away from writing a book. I'll be honest with you. I was one of those people. I felt that nobody wanted to hear what I had to say. And I felt that nobody wanted to read what I wanted to, what I had. And as you go along and you go into business and you see that you become an expert, your credibility, and then your story resonates with so many people. So I encourage individuals that, follow Bridgett. Bridgett is someone who you want to connect with. You want to learn how to speak properly. You want to get a book published, get a peace of mindset. That's all you want. You want peace of mindset. I want to go into a little bit of fun stuff here before we end.
All right.
And I want to ask you this question. And I know you have barrels and barrels and barrels of stories about this. So tell us your most awkward position you were put in when speaking, and how did you get out of it?
And Sharon, I mean, there's so many. Oh my goodness, there's so many. And this is the thing: the audience never knows or seldom knows, and that is the hallmark of a professional speaker, where you don't even let on if there's a problem. But I remember one time I was presenting out in California. I thought there was going to be a room full of, I think it was supposed to be a room full of math professors, but it shifted, and all of a sudden it was a room full of English professors. On the
Oh,
fly, yes, on the fly, I had to adjust my content. I mean, I'm talking about very quickly, but no one was the wiser. But let me tell you, I was sweating, heart was racing. I was like, for a fleeting moment, when someone said, "Yeah, so the English professors are going to be coming," I said, "Who? The who?" They're like, "English professors," and so I because at that point, what would
what are you
be
going to do?
right? I can't sit here and start screaming and hollering and fussing and complaining that somebody gave me the wrong information or something was misorganized. I mean, what was any of that going to matter in that moment? I
Hmm.
immediately said, "Okay, thanks so much." Like they were coming maybe in the next 10, 15 minutes. Thanks a lot. Um, I'll be ready. Looking forward to it. And I hustled over to my computer and my notes and everything, and I'm like in my mind reworking some things as quickly as I can, because there were discussion points and just different things. It was a training session that was going to go a different direction with math instructors. And it actually worked out better to have the English instructors, because I used to teach English. So
Oh,
it was actually better. But
it was
still,
plus. Yes.
my brain had been prepping for these math folks. And so that was one of the most awkward. I can give you more if you're just dying.
Yeah, no, I think I would have been going crazy at that point because I'm
On the
thinking
inside, I
two
was.
complete different educators. Like math people think different from English. So how did you, and you know what, and I know you killed it, I know you did amazing, but those are the things as a professional speaker where you have to look at it and you literally have a split second to say, you know what, I'm not going to walk off the stage. One, y'all paid me, or two, this is a great opportunity for me. And I just got to go out because it's my credibility. It's my name. You know, I look at things when I get scared and I just have to do it. And I know only women who have given birth. I look at it as it's like giving birth. You can't push that back. You can't turn the rewind button. You gotta
Well,
go.
we can use an analogy that men will, or people who have not given birth will understand. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
There you go. There you go. But I want to get dramatic. Like this is giving birth, okay? Ladies, if you're giving birth and you have to do that, think of it that way and do your ultimate best
Yeah,
and kill it.
yeah,
Because if you have the confidence, no one's going to know that you're messing up. Shoot, they don't know. So you could be giving them little pieces of information that you're saying, oh my goodness, you know, this is on Google, this is on whatever. Guess what? They ain't Google it. So they don't know. That's why they're coming to see you.
that's it.
So, Bridgett, how is it that folks can get in contact with you?
Absolutely. Visit connectwithb.com. Common spelling, connectwithb.com. connectwithb.com. All of my social media handles are there, all kinds of good stuff. So see you there.
That's great. Thank you so much. One last thing. What would you like to leave the audience as we close out?
Be it even if you can't see it. Do it even if you don't understand it. Make it happen. No excuses, all gas, no brakes. Don't hold back.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I would love to bring you back on and just talk about more amazing things to what you can do, what you're doing for everyone. Everyone, make sure that you follow Bridgett. Her contact information will be in the comment box, in the info box. Make sure that you follow her. And again, thank you so much, Bridgett. I appreciate you for joining us on NetStruc Talks. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.